Hello everyone, my name is Strifium and welcome back to another video. Today we have something very special for you, as yesterday we got an awesome opportunity to do some racing in F1 2019 with none other than Nicholas Latifi, the Formula One Williams racing driver. And after the great race that Unicorn and I had an opportunity to commentate for MRL, we even got to ask the F1 driver a few questions. We hope you enjoy the video. Hello.
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 Who's speaking here?
All right, this is Strifium.
You sound Canadian.
I'm very Canadian.
Very proud of it.
I'm very Canadian.
That's what we like to hear.
Yeah, well, you're from, like, you grew up in Toronto, or?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Exactly.
So have you heard of Sudbury?
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh, that's where I'm from. So we
Okay.
know.
Okay.
So first off, I just want to say, on behalf of all of us here for MRL and everything, I just want to say, thanks for taking the time, man. Greatly appreciate racing with you today. And
No worries.
it was
Enjoyed that actually.
It was a crazy race, man. You had a lot of action on circuit today. It was, you had some battling with Alex Bitto, which I'm sure you probably enjoyed. Rackety in the Ferrari as well. You guys just kept exchanging positions lap after lap, just fighting and fighting.
Yeah, it was a pretty good race. I mean, the start was quite good. Picked up a few positions. Very clean racing, which is nice. I mean, it's better racing here than when you're racing with the actual F1 guys, because when we drive with no damage off, everyone is just no damage on. Everyone just fully sends it, and this was actually nice and clean. Maybe people were being a bit too clean with me. I don't know, but I don't mind. But yeah, it was good. I'm just unfortunate. The last 5 laps from the end or something, my screen went black. Even if it didn't show up on the stream, it still went black.
Yeah.
And they did that twice, yeah. So, anyways, crashed out. But that was fun. We could telling JJ we could definitely do that again sometime once on the new game once it comes out.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, I think everybody at this point is pretty well looking forward to the new game. We definitely knew there had to be some kind of technical problem, because 1 minute you're in 7th position, next thing you know, you're in the pit wall, and
He's kissing it.
I knew, I was like, there's no way that he made a mistake that bad in this race. Like, your consistency is just, through the roof. So I was like, he's had an issue, and it looked like he had maybe some lag, but yeah. I wanted to ask you real quick though, if that's okay. How's this experience been for you, coming off the real circuits into the virtual space? Now you're having to go back to the real circuits. Is that a big adjustment for you as far as feel, on the wheel? Like, how different is it when you're in these sims going into the real car?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm talking about these home sims that we all have, so I mean, I have, I would say, an above average setup. I mean, I have good sim pedals. Steering motor is good quality as well, but for sure it's not the highest quality sim motor there are. There's much better ones out there for sure. But yes, I'm kind of in a happy medium there. So if I'm speaking about my sim, and then specifically obviously the games that I'm playing, which has mostly been F1. Yeah, I mean, okay, I've obviously not driven back the F1 car since, but I've done quite a few days back on the F1 sim, and it is quite a bit different. I mean, the first laps, I mean, I think even George said the same. You're quite a lot off the pace, just trying to get back the feel of that sim, like, and even irrespective of the driving stuff, right? Like, everything just feels different. It's like the grip of the wheel feels different, the pedals, the sponginess of the brake pedal, the throw of the throttle, even the seating position is like, oh, I've been used to my wheel in this position, now it's in this position. So just little things like that. But then yeah, the driving style is, I mean, we all know there's lots of little tricks in the F1 game to find the lap time. So I had to kind of kick out some of those bad habits when I got back in. Yeah. For example, like, a lot of the times I like kind of short shift, like really early on in the throttle, and like even sometimes off throttle short shifts, like out of like a turn 2, for example, at the top of the hill, which is very bad to do in real life actually. So you can actually damage the engine, the gearbox quite bad doing that. So some little things like that. But yeah, I mean, I did do a test day in a Formula 3 week ago now, or something like that, or just over a week ago. That was the first time I drove something proper car, and it does feel weird jumping out of the virtual world going back into real. But I mean, it's more just, I think, just because it's been such a long break of not driving anything. So irrespective of whether I was doing sim or not, which I think was good, to keep me sharp. Yeah, I think it's been beneficial overall.
Yeah, I feel like that's just something a lot of people have been wondering, not just for yourself, but even for George or Charles Leclerc or any of the other, drivers like yourself who are looking to, jump back into racing, So Austria, this coming up weekend, how are you feeling? With what we've just discussed, are you feeling confident that you'll be able to have, a good first race out in Austria?
Yeah, I mean, definitely very excited for it for sure. I mean, obviously, I was really excited for my first race in Melbourne, and then that didn't happen, and then had to wait quite a lot longer, right, to make the debut. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's positives and negatives to it. I mean, positive is it's now making my debut on a track that I know, and again, with the whole situation, I mean, there's going to be like no media, no partner commitments, things like that. So I could just really focus on the driving and things like that.
Oh, that's great.
But yeah, I mean, in terms of expectations and things like that, we kind of have to wait for the first few races to see where exactly we are. The car is definitely a step forward from last year, but where we actually are in the pecking order in a proper qualifying session, we'll have to wait and see, and then we can set some realistic targets for the rest of the races in the season.
Awesome stuff. Yeah, I'm really excited to see you racing, my friend. One last
Appreciate
question
that.
from me. Canadian pride, man. I'm all about the Canadian pride. But one last question for me, and then I'm going to give Unicorn a crack real quick because he's helping me out commentating today. We had just a fantastic view of that race. It was just a lot of fun. But is the virtual space somewhere fans can expect to see you more regularly, whether it be an off season or if you have time during the regular season? Is this have you enjoyed a lot of this streaming stuff? I haven't had a chance to really tune in to a lot of your streams. I know you've been playing some COD and stuff like that. So is it something that you're really comfortable with?
Yeah, I mean, definitely I plan to continue. I mean, I've been asked that quite a lot as we're coming to the end of the virtual stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's been something I've enjoyed more than I thought I would. I mean, obviously in those early months and early weeks and months when immediately following Australia, I mean, it was passing a lot of time. It was a nice source of entertainment for me, but yeah, I actually have been enjoying it quite a lot. And I mean, still, to be honest, even now that the F1 season's going, I mean, okay, for sure there's going to be a lot of races packed into a shorter amount of time. I'm going to have less time off, but when I do have time off, and if I can fit it in, for sure I do plan to get on, whether that's racing games or, like you said, I've been streaming a lot of non-racing games just for fun, really. So yeah, I still plan to. So to anyone watching from your end or my end, keep tuning in. Won't be as frequent, but yeah, it'll just kind of be on a case by case. Obviously, even if we're not racing at the track, still a lot of other commitments, such as the stuff at the factory. And I mean, the only thing I could say is, I mean, which kind of goes more in the favor that I will be doing it is, I mean, just because things are obviously starting to open up right now with everything that's going on with COVID. I mean, even on my time off, it's not like I could still, I mean, technically I can start to, but I mean, I'm still really not taking any risk with, social stuff, let's say, because
Right.
As an F1 driver, if any of us get it, we're not allowed to race. So I mean, if the average person just gets it, and even if they're asymptomatic, is that how it is, where you don't show any symptoms or whatever? But yeah, it's okay. But if we're getting tested, I mean, I'm actually getting tested tomorrow. I've already gotten tested once. Was 2 weeks ago. I'm getting tested tomorrow again before going to Austria. And then yeah, I mean, if we do have it, we're not allowed to race, so it's quite a big problem.
Yeah.
So I'm still gonna be being careful, and on those days off, yeah, maybe gonna be doing streaming to pass the time once I get my training done.
Well, it's been great for me to chat with you, Nicholas. Really appreciate it. Like I said, take the time. Unicorn from the UK. Do you have any questions for Nicholas before we we jump out?
Yeah, I'd love to ask a couple. So yeah, I'm Unicorn from the UK, so I'm not a fellow Canadian, unfortunately. But
Okay, so we're gonna end it right there then.
Well, you're driving for
You're
Williams.
done, son.
no, but going back to like the amount of, I've just got a couple questions here. But virtual racing, we've seen like it called into question like how close it comes to the real check in terms of realism, but in terms of the feeling with like challenging other drivers, obviously today we saw you challenging a lot for positions, different people, Rackety, Alex as well. So does like that, obviously there's not that real feeling of closeness, but does it still give the same level of excitement as a real car?
Yeah, I mean, so from the driving aspect, obviously that's not the same because you don't have this sensation of speed, which is and the G's, which is part of what adds the fun for me at least. But I mean, the racing element, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I got into it so much, right? Was to keep sharp on the mental side, and you know, a lot of I always said a lot of how you kind of size up your moves, strategize how to pass people, strategize how to defend. You know, even in the F1 game, if it's not realistic, how you're managing your fuel or your ERS to real life. I mean, there's those very strategic elements you got to do as well, right? So, yeah, it's in that sense. That's why I've stuck with it so long. I think that's why a lot of the other drivers did the same because it is. I think it was beneficial during this time.
Yeah, and as well, obviously we've seen you alongside other drivers take up Twitch streaming for the racing. How has it been with the interaction with the fans? Obviously, it's bringing everyone a little bit closer. You know, we as fans get to interact with you drivers a little bit more. How has that been adapting to that for you guys?
Yeah, it's been something quite cool. I mean, I say kind of like almost every time you go live, it's like kind of like doing like an Instagram live or something like that. So it's a nice way to interact with the fans and obviously build a little community. I mean, for sure nowhere near on the the level of guys like Charles and Lando. I mean, Lando's been doing it for a while, but obviously Charles has such a big following already, and you know, straight away when he got into it, to a certain extent, it got even bigger than Lando for the time being. But you know, I built a nice little community, have a nice little group of supporters, which is great. It's always the same people tuning into my streams, which is nice as well. So big fans of mine, and I appreciate them always kind of tuning in and being active and engaging in the chat and in the kind of whole streaming experience. So yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed it. I mean, again, I think that when you get if you get much bigger on it, it becomes quite a bit different, right? When you can't even read the chat basically because it's just non-stop messages. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's been quite nice.
Thank you. Yeah, that's all the questions I had. But I wish you the best for Austria when you get there in the real cars. So thank you so much, dude. It's been
Appreciate
a great
it.
day.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Well, that wraps up our chat with Nicholas Latifi. We hope you guys enjoyed the video. We hope you enjoyed the highlights, of course, that we had playing in the background there as well. You can see the full video from those in the description. The link will be there for you, of course. Big shout out to Nicholas Latifi. Thanks a lot again to him for taking the time to hang out and chat with us. Of course, race with us. Really cool, very genuine of him, and we can't wait to see him compete on the Formula One grid in this upcoming season. Take care, guys, and see you next time.